Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode, or one of the first episodes, of the Gladly Global podcast, where we're going to be doing some deep diving into a lot of different deep subjects around culture and language and how those things intertwine and different pieces of humanity, if you will. Things that may be hard to unload in a 10-minute video, things that we would like to be less edited, things that we would like to, I don't know, talk to more people in a more relaxed setting where we're not worried about the camera, they're not worried about the camera, and where we can just have a deep conversation. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time because I've been really into it. I really enjoy the depth that one can go into when listening to a podcast rather than a YouTube video that really kind of just skims the surface more time. So what are we talking about today?
Yeah. Today we are talking about relationships. Um, well, also long distance relationships, I guess, but mostly like relationship when traveling around the world, I guess. Right,
Right.
Teresa?
So exactly. So like relationships, whether that's your family or your friends or your loved ones, and how you really keep up those relationships when you're living halfway across the world from them. And you have a
Yeah.
6 to 14 hour difference. So first we plan to talk about friends and then family, and then we talked about the loved one. A lot of times it can be hard to keep up relationships with your friends because friends even more than family and your loved one, I feel it's very easy to grow apart from them. If you're not
Yeah.
proactive about your friendship, it's very easy because if you're not around, you might not feel the need to share with them the same way. You might not feel the
Mhm.
need to talk about a lot of things, whereas like when you're around, you have similar experiences and you end up sharing those similar experiences almost immediately. And when you're not together, then it's like you have a lot less things to talk about right away.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my experience since I live in Japan most of the year and I just go back to Italy some weeks. It's just like it really seems to me like it seems like when I meet my friends, I feel like we've never been apart for that much. I don't know why. Like it's
Mm,
weird feeling like as soon as you are in the same environment with your friends, you immediately connect. So you don't feel like it's passed so much time
right.
uh, when you were apart, I guess. But at the same time, you're a different person because you spend time abroad, and so you react to things differently. And as you said, I really feel the thing that you don't have like conversation topics right away sometimes, and
Yeah.
can get kind of awkward sometimes. That's the worst part. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think like the relationship per se doesn't really get too much affected if you stay away for a long time.
Yeah, I guess it also depends on what level of friends. So if they're like your close
Yeah,
friends
of
and you
course.
have a lot of history with them, then it's hard to like you haven't seen each other for so much amount of time, and now you're like, I don't know who you are. It's hard to do that because
Yeah.
you have a special bond with that person. uh but
Hmm.
at the same time, like at least in my experience, like sometimes I'll end up talking to a friend maybe once every 4 or 5 months or something like that, or even less,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I just I get so busy, and I end up prioritizing who I message because of just like the sheer amount of time in the day to message people. you know
Yeah.
I have this one friend who I love her so much, and she's from when I was living in the States, a long time ago,
Hmm.
a very long time ago, like at least 8 years ago or something like that. um
Wow.
a long time. And so I love talking to her, and whenever we do end up talking, we talk for like an hour or 2 hours or something like that. um
Yeah.
but it'll be years sometimes that we don't talk.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
It's
But
hard.
it's like, yeah, it's a weird feeling because I also have a friend. It's more recent one because we were just roommates during all my university years, so
Mm-hmm.
we created like a really strong bond
Mm-hmm.
there. And it's like for me, like we were like actually best friends. Like we would talk about anything. And now, like, since I'm here, she's living in Poland right now actually. And so even if I go back to Italy, we cannot meet.
Mm-hmm.
And we just write messages sometimes, but it's not like we don't expect answer right away or anything. Just like sending a heart, and then like 2 weeks later, she sends a heart back or something because we're both so busy. And
Right.
it's like we get it. Like both of us get it that both of us are busy. So like it's just mutual connection. So I guess for me, like until now, having friends abroad, like very far from me, has not been a bad situation at all.
Mm.
For like, I would say that on the contrary, I feel like real friendship the real friendships emerged from the kind of sea of all the people that I knew. So like now
Mm.
that I'm abroad, and when I come back, I can see just some people, and the people that actually make time to meet me and actually spend time with me, maybe make me a Christmas present, are the ones that really count in my life.
Right, right, right.
So I can only see positive things, honestly. In that.
That's good. That's good. I yeah, I can't say that I ever feel like I lost a friend to long distance. Maybe
Mm.
okay, maybe friends that more like I wanted to be very good or very close friends with them, but
Yeah.
because you never got to spend as much time together, um, then it doesn't develop because you move too quickly, you know?
Uh huh.
Because like I have friends in a lot of places, like not just Japan, not just Jamaica, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
say if I did like a program in Taiwan for 2 weeks and I met
Yeah.
someone there, although I really enjoyed their company, it wasn't enough time for that friendship to take root, and then
Hmm.
the distance makes it difficult to develop the friendship, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, no, I got you.
yeah, so it's like that if I have to think of something negative, it would be that.
Hmm.
Like it's harder to keep up.
Make new friends, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
or like
so.
like for example, people make friends on Hello Talk or these other
Yeah.
apps for like language building, you know.
Hmm.
It's hard to
Yeah.
keep those friends sometimes. Sometimes you really connect the first couple of times you talk, uh,
Yeah.
and then you just drop off the face of the earth and you never talk to each other ever again.
Yeah, no, I had that happen to me several times,
Exactly.
especially with Hello Talk. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah.
you know.
So that
But
that
it's like, it's not sad for me. I don't know. Like, it's just like, that's life.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
At one point, yeah.
I totally get
But
that.
it's like, and yeah, no, sorry. You speak.
No. uh yeah, no, I was just agreeing. So yeah, I totally get that. I feel like it's not the biggest deal in the world, and if those friendships are the ones that you lose, then those are the ones that were not meant to happen, or we're not like you can't be best friends with everybody, and that's like a general lesson. And
Yeah.
I feel like being living abroad and having international friends really shows you what you value in friendship, you know what is important to you in friendship,
Yeah.
because you're not gonna just hang out and be acquaintances in the same way when you live so far, you know.
Yeah. But at the same time, now it got to my mind that I used to do like volunteering projects in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and I found myself thinking about it a couple of days ago, just like laying in bed thinking about it, and just I of course like I made a lot of friendships there, and like uh, I really connected with some people that I met there, but at the same time, it's it was impossible to pursue this kind of relationship. So
Right.
we just are friends on social media. I have great memories about this time that we spent together, the experience that we did together. But at the same time, like now with social media, you can follow somebody and you can see their stories on Instagrams or their Facebook posts or whatever, and it's like you don't feel like you are too disconnected at the same time. Like you're not actually interacting with them, but at the same time, you know that they're living now in Paris or something, and you're like,
Yeah, right.
oh, like you know you
Exact.
stay
Yeah.
connected in some ways.
Yeah, I really like that, and I've been having so many conversations with people who dislike social media, and social media's, because it's a very common opinion that social media is toxic and it's not good for society, and in a lot of ways it isn't, but I don't know, I find a lot of positivity, and especially in things like that, like we talked about not always knowing what to talk about immediately. I think that having social media and my
Mm.
friends who do social media, it's a lot easier to keep up with them and to engage in conversation with them because I already know what they're what they're doing. So it's not hard for me to like interact
Yeah.
with them instead of like, hey, so what's been up? I can ask like, hey, so you went to the Eiffel Tower yesterday. How the fuck was that? Like it's
Yeah.
it's a lot
Yeah,
easier
yeah,
to
yeah.
stay in tune with that person and what's happening in their life.
Yeah, actually about this something happened to me. I went back to Italy on these holidays, and I didn't know what to do on New Year's Eve. Like for Italian people, it's a big deal to decide what to do because you always find yourself at the last minute saying you don't know what the heck you are gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what happened to me this time. And
Mm-hmm.
the day New Year's Eve, actually, my friend hope like she was gonna spend like with her boyfriend alone, but she was like, oh, they invited us to this party, we don't really want to go, do you want to just chill with us? And I was like, yes, of course. And it's like my friend's boyfriend I've never seen for like years and years and years, but we're friends on social media, and I know he had a cat, like new cat, and it was a kitten, and I follow all his life, like from he was little kitten, and then he grow up, and I saw all these videos on his Instagram
Oh.
stories, and I went on New Year's Eve, and I finally met the cat. I was so
Oh.
happy. So
Oh.
like it's I would have never known that he had a cat at all, like because I've
Right.
never seen him for years, and then it was so weird and bizarre because I knew about it even if we
Is
never spoke about it.
Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be a theme where every time we have Anna on the podcast, it's gonna be like some cat story to explain some
Why? Did I spoke
contextualizing
about
cat
cats last
story.
time?
I don't know, I just but like I'm
Okay.
like, wow, that's so Anna to really bring home this like
Okay.
summarize. It's so Anna to summarize this
Yes.
entire topic with a cat story. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Fun fact: I'm actually wearing a cat sweater right now.
right, see, there
So.
we are. There we are. Oh no.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm that crazy cat lady.
she
Okay.
is. It's lovely. So, yes. All
Yeah.
right, let's talk about family now. How do you
Okay.
what is your interactions with your family living in Japan like?
Um, so my mom sends me a message every morning in Japan, and she says me good morning. Says to me good morning every single day.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, because I actually answer to her because I also have a little sister, and she never answered to my mom, so my mom relies on me to have some kind of, you know,
Lol.
reassurance that everything is fine. Yeah,
Oh.
and um because my mom has some kind of sleeping problem, so she writes to me during the night when she cannot sleep
Mm,
because of the time difference. It's morning here when
right.
she cannot sleep, so yeah, we got a connection to that. And for the rest of my family, actually, I call my mother and father sometimes and my sister, but my cannot use like Line or WhatsApp or anything, so they cannot call me directly. So
Mm,
I hear from them sometimes only. And
mm.
that's it because the rest of my family doesn't really care about me.
Yeah.
So I only have like an uncle with his family, but it's like they don't really like.
Right,
My
right.
cousin just likes my post on social media and that's it.
Right, yeah.
So
I have so much family,
it's
so I
not
can't
much to
even
say.
I can't even like
Yeah.
begin to talk about all of my extended family because that's an entire different conversation. But like as far as like my grandparents and my parents and my siblings and stuff like that, like um well, I feel like my parents don't necessarily message me all the time. Actually, my situation is sticky because I like one of my biggest pet peeves with having to keep up relationships with your parents, and I mean, and also, of course, you still want to keep up relationships with your family. It goes both ways, but is that there's this huge expectation for you to, especially if you're the one who is far away, that you have to
Mhm.
deliver somehow with extra contact and to be extra proactive um like keeping up the communication. So what's
Yeah.
annoying with my family specifically is that I will just like not hear from them for a little while, and that's fine because I don't like I like if I don't have something to say and they don't got something to say, and then I just won't hear from them, and then they're like, so you're not messaging me, and I'm like, but you didn't message me. Like
Yeah.
you know,
I get
why
it.
why do I have to message you?
Yeah.
Right. um
Yeah.
and or like if I'm really busy at work or something or at school, and it's like a particular week when I'm very stressed and I just do not want to answer messages, which in that case I'm ignoring everybody, I'm ignoring friends, I'm ignoring, it's not just family. And if I ignore them, they're like, we thought you died. Oh, why did you ignore
Yeah.
us? What could have happened to you all the way in Japan where I can't see you, And I'm like, Lord have mercy on my
Oh
soul.
my god.
Like,
Yeah. I
please.
know because that's exactly my mother. So that's the thing. No, she writes good morning every day. So if I don't reply back because I'm busy or anything,
Right.
she will write later in the day and be like, "Is everything okay?" Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like if I don't write to you, actually, it's definitely everything okay. Like if something's wrong, I would try to contact you. No,
Right. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like I get that part of like
Yeah. It's a
it's
little
like
frustrating.
because yeah because you used to live together and when you live together it's like all the time you can speak to each other but then now that you're away like people like my mother for example cannot really um get used to the fact that you're away all the time so
Yeah.
like cling to you a little bit.
Yeah. Like they're trying to cope with the fact, and you're like, it's yeah. And I mean, like, my family, they're generally overbearing. Like all of my family lives within like walking distance of each other. So
Mhm.
so like for me to be the one who is like, not only did I move, like say okay, because moving to another city would be huge, right? Like why, oh my god, you're
Yeah.
all the way in another city would be huge. But not only did I decide to move to another city, I decided to move like literal 14 hours away by plane. And so for them
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
you now have all of this obligation because you decided to leave us, and so like, hate it. But
Yeah.
on the flip side,
Yeah.
like,
Like I.
sorry, go ahead.
mm. No, I was saying that I don't know if it's probably a blessing in disguise that my grandparents cannot use. like the internet to
Mm,
call, because like I would never just do a normal call to them because it's too expensive.
right.
But so that they already know and they already acknowledge that I can only call when my father or my mother is there with WhatsApp or something, you know. So
Right.
they already know for a fact that I can only contact them in those situations, those only. So that's, so when my mother tells me, "Oh, I'm at your grandfather's house," I just call in that case, so they are happy and that's it, you know. So that's a blessing, you
Yeah.
know, because it's decided when I have
Oh
to
my god.
contact
This
uh
flows
this.
into this flows into your point, your other point, because we have bullet points here that we're looking at, but this flows into your point because my grandparents, on the other hand, are very, very tech savvy for being grandparents. So my on my dad's side, they have every single Apple product, iPad, iPhone. In fact, my grandma just got the new fucking iPhone 11s, blah blah blah. I don't even know what it is now, but she just got it, and I was like, really,
Wow.
I'm like, hmm. But and my other and my other grandma, although she doesn't have as many fancy things, she's actually super savvy with this stuff. So I all of my family has Line because I told them I won't talk to
Yeah,
them unless they download Line. So they did,
yeah.
and
Same. I actually, yeah, I forced all my family as well.
right? Because it's better. WhatsApp
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
WhatsApp sucks.
yeah.
So yeah, I converted all my friends also. I'm very adamant about not using WhatsApp. But yeah, so my grandma, she like on my mom's side of the family, we have like a lot of family drama all the time. And not
Yeah,
only is it family drama, it's also like, it's also like it's the stuff that people exaggerate. It could be real problems and sometimes it's not, right? And it
hmm,
doesn't matter, small problem, big problem, medium problem, I hear it all, I get it all, because whenever something happens, I'm the first person she calls to like spend an hour ranting about it, you know. And I'm always like,
yeah,
mm, can't we just talk about
yeah.
TV or something, like.
Nice thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My mother always complains about my sister. My sister is living in England, for people who don't know. So it's like my sister doesn't contact my mother as much as I do. So my mother, like, when I call my mother at night, so I'm just off of work, I'm just tired, I don't want to do anything, I don't have energy for anything, and my mother calls me and complains about my sister, and I'm like, what can
Go.
I do
Yeah.
from Japan? And
Mommy,
it's like,
call her.
yeah, no, I actually scolded my mom because after the 10th time that she did it, I'm like, I'm just tired. Can we just talk about something else? Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that I can solve anyway. So,
Yeah.
so like this, and but also in for other things, like, can I say? So this is kind of say comic, whatever. It's a big problem sometimes, but it's like, for example, when my grandparents need help and my mother and father are alone taking care of them, and I feel like there's also like that feeling of I'm here, I cannot do anything about it. Also,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
there's that as well for me, and yeah, that's kind of hard to deal with because I took care of my grandparents a lot. So there are also like some aspects that
We
makes
just,
me
yeah.
not sad. I don't know, like I would say worried sometimes. Like I
Yeah,
could
it
be
makes you
doing
feel
something
it makes you
about
feel
it.
like a little upset that you are not there. Like I totally get that. My mom suffers from a lot of mental issues, and my grandma is dealing with it majority of the time. And whenever she tells me about it, which is almost all the time, because she doesn't like to go into
Yeah,
details with a lot of people. She feels comfortable talking about it with me, and so, and because like it's a safe space. And that's the thing, when you are the safe space for your family, it's hard to refuse them because they have
yeah,
nowhere else to put the conversation and the complaints you know so Anyway,
Yeah.
my tip and hack for this for anybody having similar issues is turn the phone on speaker and then cook or do something else like laundry while they talk. Because
Mm,
like you might as well, and you just answer generic answers and you try to relax and focus more on the activity or the errand that you're doing instead of the conversation, because otherwise you're just gonna like stress yourself out when that's not why you're abroad, you know? Like you still need to live your life, and that's the bottom line, you know?
yeah, I think so too. Like, so you can give them the relief of speaking about it, I guess, but at the same time, you don't stress too much about it. So I usually do that too. So I do my
Right.
nails or something,
Exactly.
and it's just the best thing for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Okay, so
Yeah,
I think we can move on to our final topic, which is, you know, the loved one in
is
ugly
this exactly how you pronounce that weird
Yes.
font you
Yes.
wrote to me?
Yes, it's exactly how you do that. I'm gonna have to, like, when I put it on online, I'm gonna have to put it in there just for the sake of, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of everybody understanding what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
They're gonna be like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um yeah.
Okay, so about this topic, I think you should speak about it because you are in a particular
I'm the
situation. So maybe
OG.
explain about it.
I am the original. No, okay. Uh So, for backgrounds, both Anna and I have experience with long distance relationships. Um, and
Yes.
I have two big experiences with long distance relationships, and also, and they were also very different outcomes. And I'm also like super specific about how I have to run my long distance relationship in essence, because um I think it can be very difficult, and I think that like relationships that like love based relationships, hot passionate young relationships, it's very difficult to have that solely based on text and talking. Like there's something about being a partner with someone that it's not only about like physical relationship, but also just like seeing them and being with them is super important in the relationship, more than friendships and more than family, for some reason that I really don't know, but like it just it's important. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's same. I mean, I had one big long distance relationship, but it was very particular case. But since my boyfriend is moving to England in April, and I will be staying in Japan for a while, and then, oh, spoilers! I will probably go to Italy around May or something.
Mm.
And I think I will have to learn from you, Teresa, like the
Y-
tricks
yes.
of the thing because
Yes.
yeah,
I'm so
because right now,
yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was, yeah, right now I'm used to see my boyfriend every weekend, which is still less than what I used to do it when had an Italian boyfriend at my hometown.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, I think, it's like also that for me now that I'm working a 9 to 5 job and it's not like my favorite job or anything, it's like
Mm.
seeing my boyfriend at the weekend is like that thing that actually helps me uh,
Right.
get my batteries charged again for the
Right.
next week, because if I didn't have that, it would be like just working
Bum
and
bum
that's it. And
bum.
so I think it will be different when I go back to Italy anyways, but still it will be like a real, like, uh, I don't know, like a slap in my face not to be able to see
Right.
to take a train and see him. So I think you are in a long distance relationship right now, right,
That's
Teresa?
right. Yeah. So my
So
boyfriend, we met briefly when we first met, like very briefly, and then I promptly left the country in which I met him in. Um, and then
Yeah.
we kept the relation.
Nice job, Teresa.
Yes. So, and then we kept up the relationship, and we built it online. So you could say that it's more of like a online relationship how we started, uh and then it's developed into dating, and then we were dating long distance, and then we were and then we moved in together, and we were living together all the way up until like last week. So now I'm back into long distance. I'm right back where we started. And it's actually
Yeah.
funny too because yesterday, what is today? No, not yesterday. 2 days ago was our 1 year anniversary, and
Oh, baby.
yes, and it's interesting because it's almost the exact same timeline as last year. Like how many months we have to wait to live with each other again. It's like the exact same timeline. So
Oh,
hilarious, but at least I think it will be somewhat easier this time because I know that I can handle it. Because the first my
mm,
first long distance relationship, we were dating together in Jamaica for like this is my ex. We were dating in Jamaica for a year, and then we dated long distance for 2 years after that. And
wow.
yeah, and those 2 years were actually very excruciating for me, and it ended
Mm,
badly. I'd say badly, but we're still friends today, so not awfully, but like I meaning I feel like the long distance was a big part of the reason why it couldn't be sorted out, because you also start to have a lot of like random feelings that might be very possessive or controlling or overbearing, or like a lot of very human instinct reactions to things come up when you're not around each other all the time. Like you,
mm-hmm.
because if you're around each other you can have this sense of security, you know uh, but
Yeah.
if you're not around each other, a lot of times that security goes away, and then there's a lot more like bickering about stupid things that you don't necessarily need to bicker about, or you feel frustrated
Yeah.
towards the person in general because uh, they have this claim to you, but you don't even see them all the time. So you subconsciously put space in between you
Mm-hmm.
and this person if you stay away from them for too long, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so the very first thing rule that I put in for myself when I started dating Rasmus Elmo, or known as Elmo, is
Mm-hmm. Baby.
yes, is that I wouldn't I don't want to not see each other for longer than 4 months. So
Mm-hmm.
even if that means that we meet each other for a week or 2 weeks or
Yeah.
something like that, or less even, depending on how far your distance is, like
Yeah.
I then that's better than saying like, okay, I won't see you for like this entire year, because just too many things can happen to a person within a whole year, without that
Yeah.
confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then my
I
sec
get it.
my second rule is that you have to know when the long distance is going to end. So
Yeah.
maybe not right
You
away.
need to have a goal.
Right, exactly. Like a goal or a plan, or even if it changes, it can change, but like if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
any idea how the end will work out, you're just going to get anxious for when the suffering will end, because it is a form of
Yeah.
suffering. It is a form of suffering. So you have to have
Yeah.
something to build towards. So if I didn't know, like with Rasmus when we first started dating, if I didn't know, oh, okay, we're gonna start living together at this point when he comes to Japan, then it would have been a
Yeah.
lot harder for me to deal with missing him or wanting to be with him so badly. it would it would
Yeah.
it
Yeah. I
would
got it.
multiply that a lot, because I don't, because I counted the days. the first time around. I don't think I'm counting the days this time. I'm kind of just like, yes, I'll see you. But but you know,
Maybe.
yeah. What are your worries with what do you think about how this new dynamic will be for you? What are like
Yeah, yeah, no, like I like that you put rules for yourself. Actually, I think I will store that. No,
mm,
sorry, I will steal that because unconsciously I already had that 4 months rule.
mm,
So I immediately started to think, okay, we can meet at this time, and then maybe you can come at this time, whatever. And it's like, yeah, you need some kind of reassurance of like, okay, it's gonna be like far away for a long time, but we will meet each other at this point at least. And
right.
I think for the second part that you said, like have a plan for when the suffering will stop or
Yeah.
something, it's like it's good as well. But like for my situation, as for now, there are too many like undecided
Variables,
things.
yeah.
So yeah, say I don't know if my boyfriend will find a job there and stay there after the 2 years of his visa, or maybe he will just come back to Japan or something, or maybe we will decided not to be together in that frame
Yeah.
at one point. Who knows? So like it's good to have a plan, but at the same time, don't think it's good to don't how to say don't cut off some
Other
some
possibilities.
other, yeah, like don't how to say, well, English doesn't come up well when I'm drinking much. No, so no, maybe yeah, don't stop pursuing some things that you would like to do
Yeah,
just because you're waiting to do that thing with him or her or
I
whatever.
agree because
It's like, yeah,
sorry, um, like
no,
something that I feel very strongly is that a long distance relationship or interval long distance relationship is one of the biggest proofs of a lasting and good relationship because um in the healthiest form of relationship is not one that is like ridiculously needy and dependent on the other person. I think you need to be able to have your own autonomy and have things that you're pursuing outside of just your relationship. And a lot of times immature relationships or relationships that are solely for a certain specific thing that you like uh, tend to not be able to withstand that and have you very fixated on a lot of things. But if you're able to have a long distance relationship with someone and you can prioritize their goals with whatever they're doing where they are and prioritize your goals with whatever you're doing where you are and enjoy both of your
hmm,
growth in that time, then it really
exactly,
shows how good life partners you are, more than just
yeah,
a short time relationship. Like I think about my parents too because my my brothers were all born in Canada, and so
yeah,
my mom goes to Canada every time she has a baby, and so like that's like 6 months or something like that every single time, like away. And these kind of
uh-huh,
things you should be able to do it without like your whole life and your stuff falling apart because you know that's just you're in a unit. You want to build a unit that supports individual lives, not just infatuation and a band-aid for something. I mean, I guess that's a deeper and another whole ass
yeah,
conversation, but I think all in all, I
hmm,
mean, long distance relationships really show you if you're ready to have a serious commitment relationship or not.
yeah, I think so too. Like as we said for friends before, like I think when you are far away and like you how to say, you need to deal every day with being with yourself, so you cannot rely on like having the other person how to say, like complete you in some ways or like
Right,
support you all the time, and you
right.
have to face also like being by yourself and trying to figure things out by yourself. And it's like developing of yourself is gonna be essential when you will actually meet again with your
Yeah,
significant other, I think, because it would be easier to deal with the relationships is if it's not depending on, like, if you're not depending on the person, but you're like an individual that can actually be by themselves first and decides to be in a relationship, right?
right, exactly. And I mean, adding to that, you also, it also shows you whether or not you care about that person's goals and their ambitions in whatever they're doing and their development as an individual, as a person, rather than rather than needing them for your own personal comfort or safety, or you know what I mean. So if you're able
Yeah,
to enjoy the fact that that other person is bettering themselves and growing and adding to their life by being and doing whatever they are in that other place, then it shows really how much how strong your relationship is and how long it will last, I think. um
yeah, I
yeah.
completely agree with that. Yeah.
And I mean,
uh,
sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. I should go ahead. It's fine. No, because sorry, can I tell for people that are listening, we are actually on a phone call, me and Teresa, because I'm in Tokyo and Teresa is in Jamaica, so
Yeah,
I
it's
cannot
hard.
actually hear when she's
Yes,
answering.
yes, me too. Or like,
So
you answer too quickly and then it actually the other person is talking. But um
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yes. No, but basically, I mean, in addition, so I have other things, where you try to create a place for long distance in how you function, and you can do things, you can be corny and cheesy if you want to. And like, I was really annoying the first time around, a little bit less now, but still now, but a little bit less now, because it was the beginning
Mhm.
stages of my relationship, and in the beginning stages of my relationship I had to spend it in long distance. It was very difficult for me, and I was, in general,
Mhm.
I had him on the phone 24/7s, and like,
I remember that, Teresa.
yes, I know. That's why.
I remember. I
Yes.
was in this room next to you.
Yes, exactly. So I have to, like, in Ian and I admit it, and I would admit it at that time too. Like, I'd be like, I'm sorry, but I need to be doing this. Like, I felt the need to do that at the time, and I feel like,
Yeah,
you don't need to police yourself so much with your long distance relationship. As much as I'm saying, yes, you need individuality, and yes, you need to be happy for the other person and their progress, but you can still, like, you know get sad and be like, I miss you, why didn't you call me 10 times today, I wanted you to do that. You can say that, and keep open communication with how you feel, and that way you won't risk some kind of, like, fight or losing out or dropping off the face of the, or some kind of thing, because you're being very honest with yourself too and what you want to do. Like, um you know
yeah,
Rasmus doesn't like to sleep by himself, so he calls me every single night.
maybe.
It's because, so he's very bad at sleeping on his own, so sometimes, and this is, I scold him every single time, but he can't, like, he will stay awake because obviously I'm still living during the day because of time difference. So I'll be either listening to
Yeah,
music or talking to a friend or someone in the room, and he wants to be on the phone so that he doesn't have to sleep on his own, but he cannot sleep if I'm talking and living and whatnot. So I'm like,
yeah,
Rasmus, just hang up. And he's like, no. But it's still
mm,
good because it's honest. If he wants to call, he
yeah,
should call. And if I want him to hang up, I need to tell him to hang up. And
yeah,
some, because it can be very, like, pretentious if you're just like, oh, I can't, oh, I shouldn't be too clingy in this way, or I shouldn't, um, I shouldn't call too many times. about this, or I shouldn't say this to him because he's gonna think that I'm blah blah blah. But that stuff is so bad for a long distance
Mhm.
relationship because eventually you'll just get frustrated with yourself
Mhm.
and the relationship, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to like just speak to each other about how you feel. Not only for this situation, for everything, of course, but I
Yes.
guess yeah, I think it's good to like say, hey, I'm having a hard time, and can we do something about it? Also,
Yeah,
a
I
good
agree.
thing because yeah, because the other person is in the same situation as you, and even if you don't feel like the exact same things, if they really love you, they will stay and listen to you and like try to find a solution together. No.
Yeah, and I think actually that was the biggest problem with the long distance relationship that did not work out. And what what it was that like there's a lot of different things that can happen in a long distance period when that person is not around, and you might start feeling other things. Say even you feel a little bit uncomfortable with the relationship itself too, but you want time to explore it and maybe, hey, can we try this or can we try that? And you might need something different, who knows. Then if
Yeah.
the other person does not take the time to try and understand what you're saying to them, um, then it can be very disheartening, and like that's when the relationship goes sour, when you're not willing to meet the person halfway with whatever they're
Yeah.
feeling, because life is not cookie cutter. You don't just you know fall in love with someone and then be in love with that person just for the sake of, because the fact that you fell in love with them. And there's a lot of like, you have to keep up a relationship, you have to take care of a
Mhm.
relationship, you have to listen to people. And I feel like that's the biggest thing I hate when I hear any videos or any conversations about long distance relationships. I'm not, because they're always like, if you love each other, then it will work. If you're
Yeah.
passionate enough, then
It,
it will work. And I'm like, no, bitch, that's not how the world works. Like
it it's not it that will work. You have to work,
right for
girl,
it.
right?
Exactly. Like, you like it's if you really love the person, you will work hard for the love that you've created. that's
Yeah.
that's the narrative, not love conquers all, because in that's so I like I literally I can't meds that, like, oh sorry, that's not English, I cannot process that because uh,
Yeah.
you
No,
know
I get you. No, 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 I got you completely.
yeah.
Okay, so this was couple counseling with Anna and Teresa.
Yes.
We hope, yeah. If you need a new couple therapist, you can contact us to get gladlyglobal.com.
Yes, we usually feature in language coaching, but maybe we can make an exception just this once and give some relationship coaching too.
Yeah. Well, experience we have, so I would say, yeah. And I don't know, Teresa, do you have something else you would like to say before closing the podcast?
Yeah, let me just do some shameless self promotion for a bit. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So guys,
do it.
we have a lot of things going on this year. We are expanding in amazing ways. We have new team members, we have new budgets. It's the most wonderful thing ever. Uh, we are doing our language coaching service where we talk with you guys on scheduling and time management and language learning methods and all of these different things, as well as we have a magazine where we go into depth on different, featuring new languages you may have never heard about, featuring featuring sorry featuring printable with printables and stuff that you can print out and use in your journals or in your language notes.
methods, study cafes, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, all featured on the website. We're also doing designs, downloads, stickers. Oh my gosh, we have so much stuff going on this year.
Yes.
So if you want to support us and subscribe to our magazine, our podcast, extra goodies, discount codes, packages every once in a while, all of those wonderful things, you can go to patreon.com/gladlyglobal, or you can check out Live Love Langs too if you want to just support the channel and whatnot. All of the links will be in the show notes for this video on whatever podcast streaming thing that you are on. And if you enjoyed this podcast, you can follow and share it and comment and all of those wonderful things. And we will see you guys in the next one, yeah?
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes.
Ah,
We have so much going on.
okay.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Yes. So much. Goodbye. Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.